Good morning. So I'm doing another round of bacon old fashioned by Briar Works. Morning coffee. Good morning, everyone. I wasn't going to. Well, last night I came out here. I thought of doing a video. I apologize. I just woke up, so I look like bedhead. My neck's a little better from yesterday. That's good news. It still hurts a little. I was going to do a video last night. I came out here. It was a nice, crisp night. It was like early fall kind of night, and I decided not to do it. I decided to have a little bit of me time, which I think is important. Even as a content creator, you have this urge to talk about everything and do everything and make content all the time, which is fine, and you should, make as much content as you want. As you can see, I make a video every day, sometimes two a day. But it is good to take a break, and I needed that. It was great to sit in here. I played some violin music, and I started reading some Sherlock Holmes. I read the first chapter, and it was fun. It was great, just sitting here, relaxing. It took me back to when I would come in here in the fall, last fall, and just chill out, relax, and clear my mind, and smoke a pipe, and it was peaceful. It was good. I recommend doing that. If you're a content creator, sometimes you got to take a step back and just chill out, basically. As I said, there was a video I did, it's okay to take a break. And I'm on a break, but I'm still creating content. But it's okay to stop creating content altogether. I think you need those moments where you just shut it off for a little while. And that's what I did last night. It felt good, recharged. I did some reading, and there's one thing that stuck out on me as I'm reading The True Believer by Eric Hoffer that got me thinking, because this is something I've thought about in I want to say in the past 3 years, with like the social justice warrior movements, riots that we've had, and all that stuff, and even like terrorists and all these things of people like kind of joining a cause. It kind of got me thinking, and he was in this. I'm in the point of the book where he's explaining the type of people that are susceptible to joining mass movements and the reasons why. And for a long time, I thought of boredom. Boredom is one of the reasons I think a lot of people get involved with these things, because in the 21st century, we're all kind of struggling with the purpose and meaning in life, and we have everything at our fingertips. Get the news, turn it on, boom. Movie, TV, everything's on demand. Everything is like at our fingertips, and it's so fast and so, like, we absorb it so quickly, we get bored of things very easily, and just kind of look for that deeper meaning in life to kind of want life to mean something, like that we stood up for something or did something. And it's like our generation, well, not so much my generation, well, the newer generations, or even my generation, whatever's going on in the 21st century here, is when we look back in history, all that's happened, World War II, World War One, Vietnam, the civil rights movements, all those things that happened in the past, the previous generations had to fight for and stand up for and do these things. And Gen X and beyond, we didn't have much of that. We lived in a very peaceful, tranquil, everything at our fingertips kind of way. Now, I'm not saying that there's not problems. There obviously is problems. I mean, don't get me wrong there. There's always a struggle for equality, and there are racial problems. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm not blind to that, and stuff. But for the most part, we came a long way. We still got some work to do, quite a bit, and we'll get there. It's like, as I was thinking before I came out here, it's like World War II. When that ended, the ripple effect is still felt today. I know you don't think it, but think about it real hard. All the wars that came after that, or proxy wars, or skirmishes and all that other stuff, and control of the globe and everything with the Cold War. That was all a result of World War II ending, which was a result of World War I ending. You know what I mean? So in a way, when the Civil War ends in the United States, we're still having that ripple effect. We had to deal with the Jim Crow laws, the Civil Rights Movement with Martin Luther King and all that. And all this progression that we made, and strides that we made, and sacrifices that people had to make to get to where we were, I want to say mid-80s, it kind of relatively got flat. And then I think when people go to colleges, or when we came online with things like, in the 90s when we go online, and if you're an introvert like me, you sit at a computer, you don't want to be around people all that much. And now I don't mind. I don't mind people and, and whatnot. But I do like George, I like my solitude a lot, but I also like to socialize too. And I think with all that said, we kind of isolated ourselves in the 21st century and we literally did it the last 4 months, right? 4 or 5 months with the virus and everything, where we've been inside. We are mostly inside. We can order everything on our fingertips. We don't even have to go out and socialize that much. Food can get delivered. Now alcohol here, all these things where you don't have to be really involved with people, and we've isolated ourselves. But we also get pretty bored. We've watched every movie, every TV show, we've binged, we've done all that. And then once all that's done, like once we've binged everything, once we've did that, we sit there alone with our thoughts, and then we get bored. And then we start saying, well, what the F is the meaning of life? What am I doing here? Why am I here? And then when you see somebody speaking about this injustice or that injustice or this cause or that cause, you kind of want to, you're like, yeah, that makes sense to me. And you kind of just jump into it for some reason. I've never been one to jump into any kind of group, really. And if I do, I'm always on the fringe, kind of observing it. It's almost like, I really don't have an analogy other than, like, if you're, I don't know, I don't have an analogy. I'm always like the guy that sees a group that interests him. I'll walk up to the perimeter, kind of feel it out, maybe walk my way in a little bit more. And then when I start to see things getting a little funky, I start walking back. But a lot of people will dive right in, and it's a fascinating thing. It's also fascinating that this part of the book jumped out at me, because this is something, like I said, the last 3 years I've been thinking that people are just kind of bored and want to find purpose and meaning in their life. And us thinkers, we're always contemplating and always thinking, well, what's the meaning, what's the purpose of this and stuff. And then you got some other people that don't do that on a daily basis, but then they do when they're alone in their thoughts, and they're trying to figure out, well, what's the meaning of this, what's that, what am I doing here and stuff. And I think that has an effect. I don't know, what do you guys think? You think I'm crazy for thinking this? I'm looking at it at an objective kind of thing with all these people kind of, like, even you could even say, like, Trump supporters. I get why they're Trump supporters, but there are those people that are fanatical. You know what I mean? Like, and even like Bernie's people, they can be fanatical too. It's a fascinating thing. I really think we're all just flipping bored. So we're trying to find meaning, and we just jump onto something that kind of appeals to us in some way. Same thing with the whole left and right, divide us into two sections, which I think is crazy. I don't like that at all. Like the founders, I'm all for not having any parties, but it is what it is, right? So they kind of make it so, I mean, people, they sway one way or the other. You got to fit in one category or whatever, and people get appealed to the left or the right, and that's where they go. I don't know. It's very fascinating to me how people believe or get roped into these things, and I really think a good chunk of it in the 21st century. Well, there's other factors too. When you read the book, there are other factors. He explains the poor, the misfits, and all these. But the boredom one stuck out for me because I think a lot of that has to do with the 21st century, and a lot of the other stuff that he mentions, like the poor, the misfit. Well, the misfits could apply for this too as well. I suggest you read the book and get back to me and tell me what you think about it, and it'll make much more sense if you read the book and stuff, especially. But this just stood out for me, the whole boredom aspect, and even me, I get bored. Trust me, I get bored, but I've always been a thinker, and I've gotten bored before. Now, sometimes that boredom has led me to dark places, like in 2013 and stuff, and I think bad things. But for the most part, it makes me contemplate my meaning and purpose in life, and in a good way, not in a destructive way. But other people, they feel like they need to belong to something, or have a purpose, and they kind of do that. They cling to something that gives them that meaning or fulfillment. And not that that's always a bad thing. I'm not saying it really is. I mean, life is short, right? We got to find something. It's just that, as he was saying in the book, and he's kind of objective in the book to a degree, where he's talking about, even if it's like a religious thing, people believe these things and good comes out of it. You know what I mean? But then there's all the Nazis. He talks about the Nazis and how they got corrupted into believing all these things, and then just kind of, things evolved and became what they are. And it's just fascinating that it kind of works both sides, for good and bad. I don't know. It's very interesting. Up till that point, the book was okay. It wasn't the greatest. It was interesting, but now it's gotten really, really interesting. And when you look at this book that was written, I want to say, 50 years ago or something? 45, 50, around there. Might even be older than that, to be honest. And you see where we are today and what we're doing. Now, if you look at it objectively, if you can kind of push yourself back and see, like, the people that believe in Bernie or Hillary or Trump or even Biden and everything, and then you see, like, the social justice warriors and what they're trying to do, and, like, even the Marxists that are running around crazy these days, and all these other groups that are trying to believe in something. And I sit back and I say, boredom is probably a big factor. Sure, there are other things. I mean, someone will probably yell at me and say, no, there's racial injustice and this, that, and the other. And yes, I agree, there is. How you're going about it, I disagree with. But, there is issues that are always going to be resolved in this country, and there always will be. We're not perfect. We never will be. We try to be, but we're never perfect. But anyway, those are my Monday morning, well, not Monday morning. This is Thursday morning thoughts with my coffee. I don't know, I could be wrong. There could be other factors. I'm not beholden to that. This is something that I've had a thought of this for a while. And like I said before in a video, I think things, but it doesn't mean I entertain them. I'll entertain them, but it doesn't mean I believe them. This one I kind of more believe, but I know there are other factors and stuff. And he goes on to say different things, like even the misfits. I believe are quite the factor, because there are those people that are a bit of a misfit that kind of have that charisma to get people to join their whatever cause. You know what I mean? So, but that's pretty much what I was thinking this morning. I didn't have too much planned. I was hoping to do another unboxing, or whatever you want to call it, a show and tell with Skeletor and a few other things I got coming. Maybe later tonight I'll do that. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But the Amazon says it'll be late, one of the packages. So probably not going to do that. But I came out here and I was like, I should talk about the boredom, because it's something that kind of jumped out at me in the book. I don't know. What do you guys think? Think boredom's a root cause for a lot of the unrest that we see in the last 6, 7, 8 years, maybe 9? I don't know. The last decade, I would say. Like, you see this slow building up of things. Like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They give you quick hits of dopamine because people follow and like you, but that it's meaningless, right? So you get bored of that, or you get addicted to the dopamine hit of, ooh, look, 1,000 people liked my picture, sort of thing. And when you don't when it starts decreasing, you kind of get into that, whoa, what is life really about type of thing. And then you find something and you latch onto it. I don't know. I'm actually about almost halfway through the book. Eric Hoffer's books kind of, you can speed through them pretty quick, actually. I'm still doing the political one. That one takes a little bit more time to contemplate and think. But it's been a pretty good thing to do that political book, the classic political thinking, philosophy. The True Believer is a good one to have. And then, of course, Reflections on the Human Condition was good. And I kind of want to get a few more books, political thinking, just going into the election season, because it's fascinating to me how it plays out. It's a fascinating thing. But anyway, I want to understand more and learn more. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I mean, I always had an interest with politics for a lot of reasons, and someday I'll get into that, when I was a kid. But I want to learn more, to be honest. This bacon's pretty good. This old-fashioned is not bad for the morning. Another reason I came out is I said to myself this morning, well, you don't get many chances to come out, sit in the shed, and have a morning pipe. So you might as well take advantage of it this week. So I did that, and that's why this video is actually happening. Because I was going to do this video later tonight. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this, because it's kind of, I don't want to say a controversial topic, but I'll probably get some heat for this. If someone watches this, they'll get mad, which is fine. Get mad, I understand that, but you understand that I'm trying to convey a thought that I want you to think about more deeply, and then come back and talk to me. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just saying think about it. But I was going to actually just do the review tonight. I was going to do a review on, I think Skeletor's coming today, and I got a few other little things, so I was hoping to do that. But again, like I said, how many chances do I get to do a morning smoke with my coffee? Not many. Usually on the weekend, but I work during the week most times, so I took advantage of this. And it's cool. We've actually been, here in Rhode Island, we've had decent, the days haven't been too hot, which stinks because of the pool. I haven't really been in the pool. But at night it's comfortable. Like last night was an early fall, and then it was such an atmosphere. I wish I could have recorded it for you, just to, like an ASMR. I'll have to find some violin music that's like royalty free, so I don't get flagged for anything. Because I got a speaker right behind the flag here, and I had the violin music playing, reading about Sherlock Holmes, and it's funny because it was a point when we got to in the book near the end, because the first meeting of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, and Holmes asks him about how does he feel about violin playing, and I have violins playing, and it was funny. I laughed. It was like the atmosphere was exciting. It was like, I'm there, actually. It felt like I set the atmosphere. It was pretty cool. And Rocky's out. The only dog that ever hated me. It's funny when the neighbor yells at him. I don't care. I kind of just, whatever. Rocky's got his thing. He wants to bark at me. That's fine. But my neighbor gets mad. I don't know if you can hear him yelling. Other thing I want to check out later is this Pipes and Cigars sent me a flyer. And oh, speaking of that, I did order 2 new pipes and 2 new tobaccos from tobaccopipes.com. I'm looking forward to the 2 new Author pipes. So my favorite pipe might be might have a challenge coming. This one here, the Author pipe. I think the Author pipe is my style, which is funny because initially I thought this type of pipe, like the hanging Sherlock Holmes type pipe, was going to be my thing. Turns out it's not. I gotta get a church warden though. Gotta get one where I can sit back and just sip it that way. I don't know. But anyway, I think that's gonna do it for this morning coffee. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for entertaining my thought. Let me know what you guys think. Are you bored? Am I bored? Is the world bored? And we're just finding reasons to, you know, have some meaning and purpose, and we cause all this chaos. I don't know. It's just a thought. But anyway, have a good day, everybody. Maybe I'll see you later tonight. Until then.